Well, this morning we're going to be looking at the money-making ritual spree, the Nigerian youth in focus, and we still have, panelists here. Paul Okumbawa is a youth advocate. I told you a while ago, and he feels so bad about the recent development. And also, pharmacist Uyi Orehi is a parent, once a youth, and perhaps still a parent, still a youth too, that is also not too happy with what is going on. Now, gentlemen, as we discuss this issue this morning, money-making ritual spree, the Nigerian youths in focus. Paul Okumbawa, what do you think is going on in our country? We have various names for them. You call them Yahoo boys, you call them Azar boys, Azar men, you call them different names. What is going on? What is going on, Paul Okumbawa?
Well, I've been in the young people business for 18 years. If there's anything I know, is the younger generation. I know them to the extent that I live amongst them every day on a daily basis. I'm very active on social media. I engage them a lot on that platform. And what I can tell you is that this development is, it's no longer assuming a worrisome dimension. It's now assuming the place of what the philosophers would call a problematic, that is now worthy of study, analysis, and profiling solutions to it, as it were. And if we don't see it in the light of it being a problematic already, then we're not ready to face this issue. It's bad that even society celebrates them, even society encourages it, mothers. I'm a young people business person. My business is young people. Without young people, I'm not in business. So I'm in their midst.
What are you teaching them?
Oh, basically my mandate is to get them into the university, at the pre-university coaching classes at Gorilla Brains. But we do more than that these days, and we discover something, sir. It's troubling to the extent that as I speak to you, there's a girl that has been sort of blacklisted by her own mother because she's against her elder brother doing internet fraud. And she's been, according to her, for the past 2 weeks, she's been having series of bad dreams that the younger brother was used for ritual. And the mother is just not willing to see it because her own friend's son already built a house. We're at a point where pharmacist or he will not be respected as a pharmacist in all that he has put into study, in all that he is as society. Society don't look to him as a leader. They don't look to him as a mentor. It's these boys now that have assumed the place of leadership because we're a nation that worship money. We're a society that loves money. He mentioned something while we were at the waiting room, that the idea of spraying money in parties should be discouraged. I do remember that in this country, the legislature they made a law to criminalize that idea. But it was never implemented because even those in the political offices, we openly, we saw videos of them defying the laws as it were. Oh, yes. Mr. Evans Onokogie, I am a parent I have 4 kids. I ask myself, because what you parents don't know that you should ask us is the people who know more secrets and have heard very stupid things more than police and priests and people like us. Sir, the confidence you repose in your daughters and your son is unwarranted. The things they are capable of, the peer pressure and influence on them is crazy. They've so gone to the point that a number of parents don't even know what their children are into. They don't know. The consciousness now is so bad that every boy wants to be a Yahoo boy. Let me not use the word every. Out of 100 boys, 98 wants to be a Yahoo boy. Because this social media fronting of their wealth is encouraging many of them. Call it ritual, call it whatever. Because the economic situation of this country does not indicate or does not support the level of flashy vehicles you see on the roads driven by young people. It doesn't support it. And they get to drive, for me, young people should not even drive cars in this country. They cannot explain where they got their money from because they are setting a bad example and they're encouraging other young people to follow in their stead.
Okay. Now, pharmacists, I don't know what's going on because just like what Paul Okumbawa said, that you see how some of the pictures, some of the video footage, are put on the social media. Are they trying to advertise that, look, this is the best thing to do now to make money? I mean, what is going on? Is it that our government is not rising to the expectation of the day? I mean, we saw what happened with the Twitter issue, how the federal government came in and said, hey, we don't want anybody to use the Twitter and all that and all that. What is going on? Is it that the authorities are not aware? Sir, you see, what is going on?
Every society has, I was discussing with my friend before we came on set. Every society has what we call they are custodians of morality. Institutions that, check the moral gauge of its people, whether the youths, adults, those in government, and all that, custodians of our morality, the traditional institution, the religious institutions, the parents, the family, as it were, our educational system, our teachers in school, they bring a check on the youths, how to live their lives. But it's unfortunate that these institutions have collapsed. Now, I have been crying wolf since the past 15 years or thereabouts about what these times have in the offering for us. Go to the church. The messages are subtle presentations of get rich quick wealth. Yes, get quick wealth. Now they tell you in some settings that the reason you have become born again, Jesus has suffered for you. He has died poor that you will be rich. As a Christian, there is nothing anymore that you need to go through. It's health and wealth and prosperity. Go to the traditional institutions. They use their acts and their practices to hoodwink people into getting money. In those days, the priests in the village setting and the society, they were known as bastions of truth. But when certain persons, years back, started sending their wives to prostitutes in foreign countries, why? Because money was being glorified in the society. It started long ago. This is just an aspect of it, which has attained more than a worrisome dimension. It has attained an emergency situation because our daughters are not safe. We ourselves are not safe. They lay in wait for you to kill you and pluck your parts and put it in something they call money ritual. Our morality is at its lowest ebb. We don't care anymore. I watched a video before I came here, yesterday here. A woman dancing, gave a bottle of beer to the son that may not even be up to 3 years. The son handled a bottle of beer, was dancing with the woman, and the son was drinking beer and all that. Very, very awful sight. And yet, we advertise these things on social media space. We give credence to this evil that we are doing as if this is how. And you see people telling you that, no, why don't you leave these people alone? Let them live their life. Since government has failed, let them find out the way. You also see parents, sir, who are even buying gadgets for their children to start these practices.
In Urome, the parents go about putting their children in what they call the hustle kingdom, otherwise
the hustle kingdom, his kid.
Yes. The mothers, mostly.
Oh, yes.
If in this blame game, the mothers,
Yes.
in all, my worry in all of this is that this thing just started and it's going to get worse because we're not presenting options to these young people. We're living in a country where, apart from education, which is not paying anymore, there is nothing else.
You may not say so.
Okay, no. But my point is that the employability level, the unemployment level of this country is how you measure the index of what is working and what is not working. How many graduates in this country are gainfully employed, if we have to go into all of that? So these young people...
How many are also employable?
That's another thing.
That's another
thing. And that's why you blame the whole thing on society. And government with a lack of focus and a mandate.
Oh my God.
In India, a policy was deliberately formed to raise giants in engineering. In China, a policy was deliberately formed to raise giants in technology. And they achieved it. Nigeria, Africa, seem not to have an educational policy, seem not to have a direction, as it were. This thing is even affecting marriages and affecting homes. You are complaining now, Mr. Evans. Just watch out when the kids in nursery 2 now, preschool, nursery 1, nursery 3, who are mostly born by Yahoo boys and Yahoo girls and their wives, become adolescents. Okay. Then you cry wolf from
now let's look at some of the recent moves that some schools in the East did recently. To be precise, I think it was Imo State University in Nekede, one of the schools in the East, had to put a ban that, look, if your car is too exotic, you may not come into the school environment. Now, some persons started reacting that there are some students that genuinely, they do some form of genuine business and they are rich. Now, let's begin to profile solutions. Are there alternate ways we can begin to discourage these youngsters?
That particular solution is a quick response, you know, to nib things in the bud at. It doesn't solve it, but it's quite commendable. In fact, I don't even want to hear exotic cars, no cars at all. I remember when we
but you may not say no cars
no
at all.
cars at all.
No, Mr. Evans,
close.
in Covenant University, Oyedepo said something that he's raising leaders, not raising people who go to school and acquire certificates. There are things that should be, a child at certain age, there are things that defines that child, learning. A teenager now begin to aspire to drive a car or have a car. It means that there's a distraction somewhere along the line. In the university environment, I don't think students should be allowed cars. In the university environment, they are there to learn, not to show off opulence.
Are they necessity?
No.
Is vehicles and someone
within a learning institution, sir? There are transport provided within a learning institution. If you want to drive outside of the institution. Within the institution, what are you coming to show? And even these days, the kind of hair they carry, and the lecturers just allow them sit in the class, and it all goes to show that we've all endorsed and approved of this thing.
Now, we're going to take a short pause because time is running against us. We'll take a short pause now so that we'll do 1 or 2 segments, after which we'll return. We still have our guests here. They're going to come. They're still here so that we can begin to prefer solutions. I asked a while ago if there are alternate ways we can begin to discourage these youngsters, from deepening themselves into these things so that we can begin to have a sane society one more time. Please stay tuned.
TMI, every opinion counts.
All right, thank you so much. Here the program still this morning on ITV, and we're still looking at the money-making ritual spree, the Nigerian youth in focus, and we still have pharmacist Uyi Oreki here, and also Mr. Paul Okungbo were here with us. Now, gentlemen, we're about setting out, trying to look at alternative ways that we can begin to discourage these youngsters from these activities that we'll be talking about. Mr. Paul.
As a school administrator, I think the time has passed where parents should emphasize academic conquests in its entirety without carrying alongside other essential learnings now. I think in the West, learning has gone beyond the received Western doctrine to what works in practical terms. There are a lot of platforms that pay these days. So young people in the US and America and Canada are making cool, legit money on the social media space that has also been corrupted, as it were. I think one of those things, we cannot discourage internet fraud, which has cascaded now to ritual, without providing options. In the corona, I wrote a proposal to 4 private universities to enlist the teaching of the foreign exchange marketing into their course curriculum. Because I know people who trade the forex and they're living off it. You see them drive very flashy cars, but you think they're into fraud too, but they don't. I know young people in their 20s who are living off the capital market, because the capital market quotes every day, Monday to Friday, a sum of $7.2 trillion US, and without the existence of the capital market, no bank will exist. So it's a bridge between financial institutions and the capital market by bringing in young people in to learn and to live off it. So the option that can be readily provided, this is essentially why I built a monotechnic. I already got one, and I'm encouraging parents and these young people with me to come start learning something that they can leverage on. Because if it's job, this country has made it such that their paper qualification is as good as for writing and speaking good English. Apart from that, you can hardly secure a job with this your paper qualification. Why not come and learn something that you can leverage on in life? More often than not, I find myself preaching that to the girls, because the choice of a husband is where society already begins from. You are going to get married to an idiot because you are depending on his wealth. You are not considering his values and his character. But because he can take care of you and the children, you succumb to marriage, and of course time is running against me and stuff. But as a young girl, your truest empowerment is not actually the received Western doctrine which culminates in the paper qualification. Is having a financial grace and a financial leverage for yourself. No boy goes to conquest a girl who's academically smart and has a means of livelihood for herself.
All right, pharmacist.
It's multi-dimensional, just like he has mentioned. There's a route there. Government should also try to invest in technical education. Technical education, because what we see is our young men and women graduating from school, and because they don't get white-collar jobs, they are not trained for any other thing. So an idle mind, they say, is the devil's workshop. So if we have this technical background in our educational system, that young men and women can identify, go into this setting and become trained people even before they come out. it does not only help to build our economy, it helps to position the minds of these ones and focus them on something important to do. If government has a very, very...
If I heard correctly, the government of Obaseki is actually looking in that direction, building a tertiary institution that is basically for skill acquisition.
Skill acquisition.
It's not necessarily that you have one paper. Even if you are leaving the technical institution with a result that says nothing, but you have acquired a skill that matters. Yeah. A skill that has a practical, that is obtainable in practical life. I think I heard that the government of Obaseki is working in that direction. I pray that sees the light of day before he leaves office, so that successive government can build on it. Emphasis. Interestingly, if we leave technical education at secondary school level, people will keep looking down on it. Because that's why the Benin Technical School does not have the needed attention it's got, no matter how much the government has pumped in there and the innovations they have brought in there. Because society glorifies this university degree over any other thing. So the government has also seen it that since emphasis is on that paper qualification, let us also now give education that will give paper, at the same time give skills. That's why here they want to build a technical university in Edo. That will work magic.
And honestly, I also don't know what's going on. Because I remember this same governor of Obaseki, the governor of Edo State now, I heard that at the Edo Production Hub on Saple Road, that they actually have a section that you can go there and even learn the forex, just like what you're trying to say. Yes. So I don't know what is going on. Is it that government comes, they start a policy, a program, and they don't?
As far as this government is concerned, I have been made to understand that, and I believe that they have laudable plans. But what I think they should improve upon is how they sell these ideas.
Thank you. I was going to say that. Because most of the things happening at IC Road, that IC Road, people don't know them. People don't know
these things to the media. Let the people take advantage of them.
These things,
Let the people understand how it works. So if it is something they can leverage their future on, then they decide right from the outset. Because these things are not being done. And the governor should think seriously about improving on his media
because no matter how beautiful your ideas are, if it's not there in the public, nobody knows. Do you know a number of people, just because the government of Obaseki is not quite as statistical as the previous government that can come on air and read out roads and dimensions of kilometers of roads and everything done, a number of persons don't know what this governor is even doing because he doesn't talk about them much. I think they should have a department. The Commissioner for Communication should also take that upon himself and start telling the people what is in this government, what they are doing, what they've done, so that people can know where to assess certain things. Yes. If not for the fact that people naturally needed CFOs, people will not even know Edo GIS existed. There are even other things that people know existed. Do you know the health insurance scheme that this government built is one of the most beautiful ideas you can imagine. But people don't know until they now find themselves in crisis. They don't start wishing they paid as much as that 500 naira as it were. But people don't know these things.
Finally, sir, we cannot push away the spiritual side of things. I am a product of that setting. I believe that our parents, our churches, can do much more than they are doing, to help equip these children spiritually. Because some of us, the way we grew up, there are certain things we cannot even comprehend. We cannot consider.
So in a society where you have idol worshippers, a society where you have freedom of worship, there are idol worshippers, there are totemists, there are Muslims, there are Christians. I like to bring pragmatism to the fore, not spiritualizing this issue. Because very recently, Pastor Abioye in Port Harcourt condemned internet fraud and ritual killing on his pulpit. And a Pastor Kingsley in Benin here throwing tantrums at him for doing the same. So what are we saying?
Let us not bring this. All right, gentlemen, that's how we end the program today. And of course, the discussion segment. A very big thank you to Paul Okumbowa, a youth advocate and also a renowned educationist in Benin City in Edo State here. Pharmacist Uyi Oriaki is a political analyst, a public affairs analyst too. Now, all these issues we talk about is to ensure that our country becomes a better one. So for the politicians, making plans to form a political merger so as to become a political platform, please, you must know that the electorate is in dire need of better government in our country. So that's all we are yearning for. So as we make preparation for the 2023 election, we must ensure that we provide the rights and the best candidate so that the electorate can actually choose who becomes the president. My name is Evan Sunokugi. Gentlemen, a very big thank you for finding time to come on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so this is how we end the program today, this morning on ITV. It comes up again 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Until then, bye-bye and God bless you.